"There! What did I tell you?" exclaimed the rat in great triumph.
"Absolutely nothing whatever,"
replied the mole with perfect truthfulness.
"Well now," he went on, "you seem to have found another piece of domestic litter, done for and thrown away, and I suppose you're perfectly happy. Can we eat a doormat, or sleep under a doormat, or sit on a doormat and sledge home over the snow on it, you exasperating rodent?"
Well, goodness me, I can't see anything to be glad about, getting a pair of crutches when you wanted a doll. Pollyanna clapped her hands. There is, she crowed. But I couldn't see it either, Nancy, at first, she added with quick honesty. Father had to tell it to me. Well then, suppose you tell me, almost snapped Nancy. Goosey, why, just be glad because you don't need 'em, exulted Pollyanna triumphantly. You see, it's just as easy when you know how. Well, of all the queer doings, breathed Nancy, regarding Pollyanna with almost fearful eyes. Oh, but it isn't queer, it's lovely, maintained Pollyanna enthusiastically. And we've played it ever since. And the harder 'tis, the more fun 'tis to get 'em out. Only sometimes it's almost too hard. Like when your father goes to heaven and there isn't anybody but a lady's aid left. Yes. Or when you're put in a snippy little room way at the top of the house with nothing in it, growled Nancy. Let's sit quiet a bit, Toady, said the rat, throwing himself into an easy chair, while the mole took another by the side of him and made some civil remark about Toad's delightful residence. Finest house on the whole river, cried Toad boisterously, or anywhere else for that matter, he could not help adding. Here the rat nudged the mole. Unfortunately, the toad saw him do it and turned very red. There was a moment's painful silence. Then Toad burst out laughing. Ho, ho, ho! All right, Ratty. It's only my way, you know. And it's not such a very bad house, is it? You know you rather like it yourself. Wife, I smell fresh meat. The wife replied it was the crows who had brought a piece of raw meat and left it on the top of the house. Whilst supper was preparing, the giant was very ill-tempered and impatient, frequently lifting up his hand to strike his wife for not being quick enough. She, however, was always so fortunate as to elude the blow. He was also continually upbraiding her with the loss of his wonderful hen. The giant at last, having ended his voracious supper and eaten till he was quite satisfied, said to his wife, I must have something to amuse me. Either my bags of money or my harp.
"Oh, look!"
cried Mary Jane.
"There's that ant on a train."
Feet on seat, the ant leans back, admiring the view, Mary Jane knew.
"You can't do that,"
she exclaimed.
What? "Your feet on seat. It's just not neat," said Mary Jane.
I wonder why, thought the ant.
"It's just not done. It's called impolite by some."
So Mary Jane begins to tell the ant what's good and what is well.
"We must not shout, nor stare, nor laugh too loud," she said.
The ant laid down, began to stare at a little spot high in the air, his antenna swishing. Whoosh, wash, wash. I think I'm lost, he says.
"I search for signals to find out where I'm at. My friends can't hear me. Drat."
It took me a long time to find out where he came from. The little prince, who asked me many questions, never seemed to hear the ones that I had. It was the words spoken by chance that, little by little, revealed everything to me. So, when he saw my airplane for the first time, I won't draw my airplane, it would be a drawing far too complicated for me, he asked me, "What's that thing there?" It's not a thing. It flies. It's an airplane. It's my airplane. And I was proud to have him know that I could fly. Then he cried, "What? You fell from the sky?" "Yes," I said, modestly. "Oh, that's funny."
Isaac Newton was born in Lincolnshire, England, in 1643, where he grew up on a farm. When he was a boy, he made lots of brilliant inventions, like a windmill to grind corn, a water clock, and a sundial. However, Isaac didn't get brilliant marks at school. When he was 18, Isaac went to study at Cambridge University. He was very interested in physics, mathematics, and astronomy.